सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय, महायोगी स्वामी उमानंद सरस्वती की जय. Yesterday, when I talked about Ved, I received one or two questions. First question was, how do we worship knowledge? Because I was speaking about worshipping knowledge when I'm talking about studying Ved, it is like worshipping knowledge. So I thought of some very simple examples for us to understand. So I thought I shall share them because there are some people who are interested. And there is one more point which I would like to bring to the notice, and I would like to get a feedback also from those who are listening. So first I would like to explain what is worshipping knowledge, how to worship knowledge. Now sometimes when we ask people that why have you joined, let's say, politics, or you ask maybe probably a defense personnel, why have you taken up to defense of the country, why have you joined defense? And some people say we would like to serve the country, and some people say we would like to earn money. Now, of course, earning money, in both these cases are going to be the results, there's no doubt about it. But that cannot be the aim of it. That cannot be the aim of it. You cannot join politics to earn money. You are supposed to join politics to serve the country. Or you have to join defense to serve the country. So this is what I mean by worshipping a country. Well, how do you worship a country? By wanting to serve the country. It is more than how much can the country give you. You've got to give her something because she's already given you. She's given you a birth. She's given you a place in her heart. The country has given you your identification as a citizen of the country. So now the turn is, how do I serve a country? So similarly, serving knowledge. We can serve knowledge by having a motive. I will give you one more example which might make it easy. We Indians normally look upon wealth as Lakshmi, a goddess. Now either you look at it as a currency or you look at it as a goddess. Now most of the time in previous days, we've heard the word, the money is like Lakshmi to the house. It's a goddess of wealth. If you look upon the money as a goddess of wealth, what message I am gaining from Veda I am talking about, what I think, what is Veda trying to tell us, if you look upon her, the wealth, as goddess, maybe within just 500 rupees, you may be able to run a small house. You may be able to run your daily need, it will suffice your needs. But suppose you look upon it as wealth, then it is likely that even 50,000 may not be enough for us. That is probably the message of Veda which I am trying to understand. They have called, whether it was Agni or Vayu or Prithvi or the cow, there is like even Ganga river, we worship it. We worship it as if it's a goddess. It's actually water. Yes, but we worship it. If we worship it, it will bring out the positive elements of the positive qualities or the virtues of probably that particular goddess, or let's say that particular entity, like wealth. if you look upon it as goddess, maybe her presence in the house will bring joy, will bring peace in the house. We don't know. But because probably it is being treated as money, as a currency, as a maybe cash or whatever you call it. See how many houses, how many of them, even 2 or 3 people cannot live together in one house. And basic reason, most of the time, the basic reason is money. Now, I have a strong feeling that looking at even money as goddess of wealth, or looking upon, earlier we were taught that look upon your even the cows in the house, the cattle, the cow was considered to be looked upon as a mother. And these are the approaches, but probably that tapped the positive energy in those things around. You can call it a thing right now because of the words. I'm just trying to understand what is Ved, the key message of Ved, I'm thinking. The key message of it is, if you treat a particular item as a very godly sent item for you, a thing for you, and respect it, probably it will give us different results. Like as I said, if you go to serve a country, you're looking upon her as a mother and you're trying to serve the country. For the defense people, they do that. I'm also from defense. So when you go, you are serving. The intention is to serve a country. When that service thought comes to you, that same activity that you are doing is going to bear different results. Politics, most of the time they say when they enter politics, they feel that there's going to be a lot of money to be made. Yes, but sometimes that money, if it comes, because you are there to serve the country, not to take what the country has just for yourself. You are there to help the country to balance out whatever its treasures are amongst millions and millions of people in the country. If you're there to grab for your own self, the purpose changes, and that makes your activity a poisonous activity. Similarly, even when you are procuring knowledge, it was considered earlier that saints lived in gurukuls. They went and stayed in places in far woods, in comparatively a distant place where students were sent to stay, and the atmosphere was very, they were taught to live within nature, whatever it was. They made it appear like a holy activity. Today, of course, people do know it's a very important thing. I don't deny it. But we have forgotten that to relate the word knowledge with Saraswati. We have forgotten to relate the knowledge with the word Saraswati. So those who have gained knowledge, there are hundreds of engineers, doctors, and they've gained knowledge. But because they have not, probably, I don't know, this may not be one of the ideas of the youngsters, but I'm trying to understand Ved. So I'm not going to impose my ideas on you, but I'm going to just tell you what I think. Probably all those girls or men who are educated, if they look upon the grace upon them as a grace of Goddess Saraswati to have given them that knowledge, probably that knowledge will then help them to have peace, good relationship with the family members, and have a very a positive approach to life. Probably, I don't know. Some time back when I was on a dais talking about Kundalini Yoga, I had talked about, in India we say, who is Kundalini? Whereas in the countries abroad it is said, what is Kundalini? So instead of treating all these objects as objects, if you look at them as gifts of God to you and value it, that's the closest we can probably go to, instead of saying gods. Because yesterday another question came to me, how many gods can we worship? If there is a God, God is for everything in the world. So I said, it's not, don't look upon them as goddess, but at least a graced extension of God. If you have knowledge, you are blessed. If you have wealth, you are blessed. If you have a good health, you are blessed. So who is the one behind giving you good wealth, health and knowledge? Is some divine hand. And that, if you consider as something very graceful or graced activity of God on you, then probably those factors which are with you may probably give you a more a positive life. Positive life. Otherwise, there are hundreds of rich people who are probably on their own without people around them, or there are hundreds of good looking who have no partners. There are hundreds of wealthy people without people to eat with them. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Here we have even been, as a child, we have been even taught how the holy basil in the house, Tulsi, is holy, and she is supposed to be respected as if she is the goddess and consort of Lord Krishna, or somebody whom Lord Krishna loved or cherished. So Ved is trying to only probably preaching us how to value anything that is around you. Anything that is around you as probably a godly and divine graced thing. And in doing so, we might be able to use that same, or the result which will then be born out of it, carried further, will be positive. Will be positive. Even storms are considered as Marut Gad, Marut Dev. There has to be some reason behind it. And this is a mindset not of ordinary people like us. It's a mindset of great, revealed, enlightened rishis, saints. So this is what I meant when I meant like worshipping Ved. Yes, Ved is supposed to be a scripture. Earlier there was not even a written document. It was carried upon verbally from one generation to the other. Today we have written document of it and we consider it. But the books, even earlier as a child, we were asked to value the book. We were asked to, if accidentally it fell down or we stamped upon a book which was on the floor, we were asked to salute it and respect and apologize for it. Now that approach is probably disappearing. So therefore, even if you are wise, your knowledge is not getting you peace. If you are healthy, it's not getting you much job. If you are pretty or you are good looking, probably it's not getting you attention. Somewhere, because we are not relating it with a graced activity. Probably that is what Ved is teaching us. So even if it is like wealth in the house, treat it as Lakshmi, Goddess Lakshmi. You name any other name, you belong to some other religion, you can call it by some other name. But you can at least relate it with grace. If there is wealth, if there is health, if there is beauty, if there is a drive for intelligence, if you have good friends, good parents, if you have good people around you, it is definitely an act of grace, which is probably that is what is making it, making your life beautiful, even if you are knowledgeable. Even if you're knowledgeable, it's a grace. If the moment you relate knowledge with purity of God, with the pure light of God, let's say with pure light of God, maybe that knowledge will reach millions and it will bring benefit to people. Benefit to people. So this is probably the teaching of Ved. Another very important thing about Ved which I would like to talk about is, in Hinduism, we've had a caste system which is again traced back to the considered to be the 5th chapter, the 10th chapter in Rig Veda, which speaks about the caste system. But I think we need to understand that at that time there were 5 elements which were worshipped as Prakriti, and the Vedic people were worshippers of Prakriti, nature. So Purush is Shiva, the God, the Supreme, and nature is Prakriti. So Prakriti was considered to be the 5 elements which were important then. So with 5 elements into mind, probably 5 castes were created. So what did it mean? It mean if there was somebody who was very passionately involved for seeking knowledge, probably it had the quality or the attribute of Agni. Agni, the fire for knowledge. We talk about it. He has a fire, he has a spark. His intelligence has a spark. His wit has a spark. So it is Agni related, is a man who is after knowledge, who is trying to procure wisdom and knowledge. The person who was wanting to work towards health was Vayuputra, who worked for, now there are many people who are wanting to do wrestling and trying to attain, or there are people who are going into defense. They are after becoming strong and powerful. So that is the quality of Vayu. Then you have the quality of earth, which is trading. That is, you put in something and you reap something. So when you give something and get something, it's like a trading. So trading was related with probably the trading. The Vaishya system was considered to be having the qualities of earth in it. Earth in it. So we have 3 elements. The 4th is the sky, the nomadic Nishad community, the ones who wandered around. And the basic needs, we call it the basic needs of water. Whenever man started his society or started a civilization, it was near some water. Vedic civilization started near Sindhu river. Then it moved on towards Ganga river. In latter post-Vedic period, it went towards Ganga river. So the rivers were basic. So there was a basic service which was a concept. So water-related attributes were considered to be the Shudra. Now there is a difference between the word Shudra and Kshudra. So probably, I don't want to get into a controversial argument. I'm just trying to understand, why did we have these 5 communities? Why not 15? Why not 2? Why not 3? Why 5? Probably because that 5 was related to this Panch Mahabhut. So these are 2 things today thought I would share. That if you look upon, in us also we have this, you make some Samulina, you used to make some sweet dish. And the moment you consider it as just a sweet dish, and if you have excess served, you can leave some part and say, no, I don't want so much of it. But if you offer it, make it for God. You make it as some offerings to God. And then when you get it back, that becomes prasad. Then even if it falls on the floor, the Indians will pick it up from the floor and eat it. Now this is what I say about worshipping knowledge. So what is worshipping knowledge is valuing it looking upon it as Goddess Saraswati. Anyone who is even educated today, the best of the ladies, the men, they are looking upon wealth as, maybe this is one of the reasons, I don't know, we have too many houses are breaking. Family lives are changing. They are becoming individual units. It's very, I don't want to comment, I don't want to judge whether it's good or bad, I'm not judging that. It's up to you. But is it the result? I'm just wondering, is it the result? Is it the result of looking upon these elements like knowledge as just your smartness? No. Could be a grace of Saraswati. The moment you say it may be grace of Saraswati, it may give you, maybe your tolerance will enhance, your ability of speech will change. Because in Jnandev also he says, the moment I worship my Guru, the Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, she manifests on my speech, and then I speak words which are probably beautiful and melodious. So it's probably just the way of looking at the world is something which is probably a Vedic vision. So I don't know, friends. I just hope I'm trying to answer. Actually, it's answering myself also. With all this knowledge people have, with all the wealth they have, why are we still not having peace? Probably because we look upon them as material, just material benefits. If we are able to relate with the grace of Supreme, maybe the results will change. So give it a thought and give me a feedback. I'll look forward for it. And thank you for your questions. The questions came from 2 and 3 people almost. Tushar, Kalpana, and Mule, and Nina. Okay, they're very close to me, but since it was I thought I should answer these questions. So thank you. Keep in touch. Let's try and see what Ved has to say. Yes, I with my humble reverence for Ved, I shall stop here. I'm Swami Radhikananda from Pune. Thank you.